Oh, hey, it's Gavin with Acoustic Designs. We're actually here at Richard Carrasco's home. I'm hanging out by his pool for a little bit, but we're gonna do a studio tour at Fullwave Studios, so come join me. Hey, Richard.
Hey, Gavin,
how you doing, man?
Good, man, pretty good, man. Oh, step in, step in.
All right, show us around a little bit. Hey, it's Gavin with Acoustic Designs. I'm sitting down with Richard Carrasco at Fullwave Studios today, and thanks for having us into your place.
Thank you for coming down. It's a good to have you here for the first time and actually having you see the place that you did.
I know, yeah. I've only seen this in CAD and photos so far, so it's really cool to be here and see it come to life.
Yeah.
You know, I know it was a kind of long process. All studio designs kind of are,
super long.
Yeah, but man, was it worth it? It's such a cool space. I know you kind of had a studio before, and but you wanted to branch out and have a whole dedicated space to it.
Yeah, so basically I used to do freelance here and there, working with other artists and friends, and one day I just decided to bring all my stuff here at the house so I could be home with my family, right?
Yeah.
And so during that phase, we decided to build a house in our backyard mainly for a casita for a family or a rental. And somewhere along the line, my wife decided to do, hey, why don't you make it into your studio? I don't want people living here.
That's not a bad deal.
So I no arguments from me. And so we decided to go that route. Mm-hmm. And so that's how this studio came in place. We built this, it's 700 square feet. Mm-hmm. There's actually 3, 4, 5, 6 rooms. Mm-hmm. But it originally was designed to be a house, and it kind of still is. Mm-hmm. But it's all 700 square foot studio here, right in my backyard.
Yeah.
Make coffee in the morning and walk out right into the studio.
Yeah, right past the beautiful pool.
Right
you have
the pool,
nice relaxation area outside.
We constructed that too, and we did everything in the backyard.
Yeah, well, and so you sent me some initial dimensions as kind of boundaries for us to work within, and then we started doing some layout options. And the main things were control room, ISO booth, and live room.
Correct.
But then also a bathroom.
Bathroom was the most important.
Yes, yeah, you have to have that in here. So, and also to make it something that there was a separate entrance into the studio.
Privacy, yes, privacy.
So people didn't have to come through your house, or
Correct.
and so we worked that in. And I think we went through a few different iterations on the layout.
I believe it was the third one that we picked.
Yeah, well, and it's always kind of that way. I mean, sometimes we design a studio and it's the first layout and everyone's just like, it clicks and that's it. But I like doing multiple layouts because then every single time we're dialing it in and getting closer to what you want. And I think that what we arrived at, I mean, this control room's nice size. You still have great sight lines into the ISO booth and the live room.
Right.
In fact, you actually see through the ISO booth into the live room through some sliding glass doors. So obviously with it being in a residential area, we really wanted to isolate it as best we can.
Yes.
And isolation's always tricky because you want to do enough, but not go overboard.
Overkill.
You know, and so that was something that we worked on as we were designing out the space and making sure that we're blocking enough to not disturb neighbors and also to block any aircraft or someone mowing their yard or anything like that. But kind of did somewhat of a room within a room design in here, and it works great. I mean, like you said, we were earlier sitting out by the pool and someone had a blower and doing yard work, and you're in here, you can't hear anything.
And we saw a plane pass by.
Yeah. No, so that did its job. I mean, obviously with isolation, it's always an undertaking because there's a lot of construction involved with that. And, so you had a contractor do all that type of work, right?
We started with one large contractor to do the pool, the patio, and the house.
Yes.
And then they decided to split it into the pool person did the landscape pooling, and this other contractor did the patio and the studio. Mm-hmm. And there was issues with contracting at that time. Mm-hmm. The contractor left, and eventually I built the studio by myself with my dad. My dad will come every once in a while and help me out. Yeah. And so that's why it took longer.
Sure. We can come up with whatever design we want, but someone has to execute it, you know, and obviously you would rather it not be yourself and your dad having to do it, but you probably learned a few things.
But you know what? It worked out way better than what I thought, because the original contract with that person was to build the studio, but we had to compromise on some stuff because just the cost.
Sure.
And so I thought to myself, well, he'll just build it and I'll just like rearrange it later. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I had to take over, I did exactly what I wanted. Yeah. So everything you see here is exactly what I want.
Yeah.
So it worked out better than what I thought it would, even though it was a lot of trouble back then.
That's awesome. So Yeah, we got the isolation where we need it to be, and then after that, we put together some plans for acoustical treatment. Bass traps around the perimeter, you see that in a lot of our designs, but it's a great way to help with tangential modes in the space, fill in all that with insulation. It also gives you a way to do recessed lights without harming your isolation.
Yes.
And so that's built around the whole space, vertical bass traps in the corners, some 4-inch thick wall panels here. The diffusers on the back wall, I'd never seen this before, but I love the way that you rested some of your guitar pedals on top of it.
It just so happens that when I ran out of space there, I was like, oh, put one here.
Yeah.
And, well, might as well, it stays in there.
And then we also have I think each one of the rooms, we have some of the Flex 48s from acoustical fulfillment that you can be either absorption or diffusion, add some bass trapping to your room as well. And so those are a really nice adaptive treatment product.
Yeah, originally I had the shielding on these first.
Yes.
And for some reason I was hearing something, I took them off.
Yeah.
And I liked how that sounded, and so I said, okay, I left it that way.
No, it's perfect.
And as we go to the live room, you'll notice that some have them, some don't. And that's the balance seems to have worked with me.
Yeah. And then you also have some panels throughout the studio from GIK.
From GIK.
So you've got some of those in there, some guitars hung up. Yeah, it's just a really, really cool space.
Yeah, I mean, this is great. I love it. It's a place that harmony, walk out of my house, come in here, get ideas. And when you're working with artists and production, we all sit here on the couch and we write music, we plan everything out.
Yeah.
Multiple sessions. I do bands that come in and just one day they want to knock it out. We do that too. Live recordings, rehearsals. They do rehearsals here too.
Yeah.
And also the majority of the stuff that I'm doing now, I would say like 70-80% of it is the composition for sync music. Sure. And so that's only me here by myself, running everything through gear. This is the main spaceship station here. This is the Danger Fox desk that we have here.
Excellent desk.
Great desk. I looked around for other desks. This seems to have everything that I need. And pretty much this is all my gear here is accessible through here. Got my patch panel here, and other accessibilities to my other gear here.
Sure.
Yeah, it pretty much this is the centralized spot of everything. My main thing here is the Apollo's X8Ps. These are the 8-channel line, 8-channel pre's. So I have a total of 16 pre's, 16 line. This is the main central area of our system. So what I do here is that this actually goes out to my summy mixer. I have an Orbit summy mixer. So whenever I'm mixing, I mix all my buses through the Orbit summy mixer. Comes out of there into the patch panel to my Audioscape EQP tube EQs. Goes out to my Warm Audio bus comp, into the Neve master bus processor, and it goes all the way back to the Burl B2 Bomber audio to digital converter. And from here, it goes fiber optic SPDIF back to my Apollos. And this is the workflow that I have right now with the sync music world, where you have to write a song, mix it, compose it, and then send it out, but sometimes they come back for changes and you have to master it again. So that's pretty much what I do. I do everything on the box. I commit internally to the box with all my external gear, mix it, and when it's mixed and ready to go, I run it through my mastering chain and I bounce it. So everything's all in one session. What's cool about this studio is that there's certain aspects that we designed earlier on to be able to control everything from here into that room. So all those mics, everything that's over there comes direct to here on the patch panel.
We paid a lot of attention to conduit runs and showing you diagrams of where things needed to run to, and just that's always a big thing when you're designing a studio or you're building a studio yourself, is that making sure that it's future-proof, like that because there's some things that we added in there that maybe even our clients would say like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever use that, and then they absolutely always use it.
Yeah, that happened to me. So the conduit, I think we said 4-inch conduit, and we're like, man, that's pretty large.
Yeah.
But it ended up working out perfectly because of all the cable runs that came here. 4 inches is way more than enough.
No, that's great. That's great. So have you always gone with ATC speakers, or is that a new purchase for the studio?
That is a new purchase from the studio. Okay. I got them in my old studio. I was in the market for good speakers. Yeah. And I knew by talking to other experienced producers and engineers, studio owners, the investment on the speakers was a big thing. Yeah. So even though my bank account didn't like the price of them, it's something that I know for a fact that I'm going to keep for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't use a lot of the newer speakers use like DSP in it.
Right.
This is just straight out awesome speakers.
One thing I do want to point out is that you're using your sliding glass door as a whiteboard. I think that I've never seen that.
So I gotta thank my wife for this, and she's a teacher. I wanted to put a whiteboard in here, and I just where am I going to put it? And it just didn't feel like it fit the aesthetics of the studio. So one day I was telling her my problem. She's like, "Well, why don't you use the chalk markers?"
Yeah,
I never heard of them. So as a teacher, she knows what they are. So basically, what we do now is that whenever we program and music or arrangements or anything, we tend to use this wall here to write out all our ideas. Sometimes they write lyrics on it, on the board, and it comes off easy. It comes off easy.
Yeah, and you've got your curtain here too, to where if you need to cut off that first reflection point while you're mixing, you can use that. But yeah, I love that idea.
So whenever I'm mixing, close both doors. Curtain.
That's awesome. All right, let's go into the ISO booth. We got these double set of sliding glass doors from Soundproof Windows, got laminated glass built into it and airspace, so it really gives you the isolation that you need. And we'll go ahead and step on into here. This space is, it's perfect size for like a vocal booth.
Angled perfectly.
Yeah, we got the nice angles on the side walls and then acoustical treatment where we can place it. Flex 48s in the corners to help with some bass trapping here. And it just turned out really nice. And I think what's great is that you can sit at the mix position over there and see the vocalist standing here, but then also see all the way into the live room. I just love the sight lines.
Yeah, I like the idea that as you're sitting here, I have a chair here, singing, and they're looking at me.
Yeah.
And make eye contact. It's the greatest thing. And I have a monitoring station there where they can hear me on the headsets.
Oh, sure.
So. And it's Ethernet, so everything comes through these I/O panels.
Yeah, I was going to point this out here is that this.
I built that, by the way.
Yeah, it's great because with the conduits we designed them so they all pop up, not coming out of the wall, it's coming out of the floor, and so having that run right into that, it doesn't compromise isolation that's happening in the walls. Also, it's probably nice to be able to set something down on here if you want to or whatever.
It's filled with insulation also. Yeah, it's filled with insulation. The conduit's filled with insulation, and it's custom outside. I built it myself, and
it's perfect.
Works great. Works great. And this is awesome because, like we talked about earlier, that if you want a more lively sound, like a more of a short throw delay, you leave the glass open. More cleaner, close them.
Yeah.
Put the flex shields on them. It just varies whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes I play bass and amp and guitar in here too.
Sure.
I put a guitar amps in here, and sometimes when there's live bands playing, the band is all in here, but their instruments are elsewhere.
Yes.
And bass player is there, for example. Singer is the guitar player is playing there, but his guitar sound's coming out of here or the equipment room.
Yeah, having that flexibility is awesome.
I'll talk about later about how we do the wiring. It's great.
That's great. Let's check out the live room now. Yeah, this live room is really great, and you can even hear it while you're stepping from room to room, how they have different sonic characters.
They do,
And that was, by design, being able to make sure that this room had some life to it without being just totally oppressed.
Yes.
And that's, these Flex 48s on this wall, having that adjustability, but then even some of the GIK panels having, it's not completely absorptive, they have some scattering to it as well to keep some life into the room.
Yeah, I took a little bit of flexibility from your original design because I think here, I don't remember exactly what it was, but when I got the deal, they came in sets of 3. Yeah. So it just turned out that my extra sets were there, so I just put that there.
Yeah, I think we may have specified some perf panels there, but this is a similar concept.
These are perf here.
Yeah.
I made these.
Yep.
They have the little
pegboard behind it.
These two.
Sure.
All these are normal. I made all these. Everything that's covered in fabric.
Yeah.
I made them. And obviously GIK.
Yeah.
GIKs here.
Turned out great. I know that you have like an amp rack here. I think you just built this recently.
It's new. Yeah. People come here and rehearse, and I was moving stuff around. Sometimes I have to move the drums around, but I just thought to myself, like, I've seen videos online that show people having stacks. So I bought this temporarily for right now just to see if it works.
Sure.
But I'm eventually going to build a wooden one.
Yeah.
One more solid. Yeah.
Got the drum set in here. We also have a piano. Did you own this piano before the studio, or this
is a funny story. So this piano, when my oldest daughter was younger, every place we went to in the mall or any place, hotel room, she would stick to the piano and we couldn't get her out.
Yeah.
And so we said, okay, let's buy a piano. And so I looked online, I think it was Facebook Marketplace or one of those places about 10 years ago. And there was someone selling just like 2-3 blocks away. But no, this guy, he was a classically trained, like from Juilliard, like classical piano player. And he was moving to San Francisco, and he sold everything except for the piano. Late last year, some guy came to tune it. I asked him, hey, like, do you know anything about this piano? Like, can you tell me a little bit about it? And he's like, no, it's a 1973 Kawai, and these are the original strings. And he goes, did you upgrade the stuff here? And I was like, no, I bought it that way. And he's like, oh, it's upgraded to like the highest standard it could be. So I guess that guy who had it, he took care of it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's super old. It sounds great.
Also, cable storage is always a thing. Storage in general in a studio is a thing. So having your cables here, kind of out of the way, but easily accessed.
I ended up getting those from NAMM. I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, some lady was selling them.
It's great.
And they're called Wranglers, I think they're called. Those are awesome. But this is my side thing that came out of. This is a sidecar.
Yeah.
So basically, this is a copy of my screen over there. Perfect. So here I'm able to view all the DAW, all my Apollo console, everything's here. So as I'm recording here, I could actually edit, stop, record, everything here from this area.
That's perfect.
So as I'm playing on piano, because I suck at piano, so I'm good at everything, but not an expert at everything.
Sure.
So for example, when I play drums, I usually just do the intro.
Yes.
And I go edit it, come back and do the verse, go edit it, because I can't play the entire song.
Sure.
Same thing with piano.
It's all right. That's better than me, because you get me behind a drum set and it's not pretty.
Yeah.
So can you show us outside? That's another special part of the studio, is that right outside you have this amazing space to relax.
Yeah, the goal here that I was going for is that you have this aesthetic and look and art feel of like the studio.
Yeah.
Calming, inspirational, but then if you get stuck, you go outside.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
Let's go check it out.
Wow. This isn't too bad. I mean, most people, like they are always, working on their studio tan.
Yeah.
You know how you're pale because you're in the studio with no windows. You actually have windows, but then you have this.
Yes.
And being able to feel the sunlight on you and take a break and relax, I think this is awesome.
Yeah, and being in Southern California, there's always sunlight here.
Yeah.
Right? You can see here that we built also this, all this is brand new, by the way. Everything's brand new.
Yeah.
Because the house was just, that's all that it was in the past.
Man.
But we pretty much built this area here for a TV. Actually, that TV connects to the inside.
Sure.
So in the next few months, my goal also is to have one-on-one educational clinics here to teach how to do recording, songwriting. So we're gonna use this area here for put chairs here, and we actually have Zoom calls here where people can talk, or do PowerPoint presentations of what you want to do here.
One other thing we can check out while we're here is the storage room and equipment room, which was right around the corner here. So tell us a little bit about what's going on in here.
So here, that's one of the criteria we wanted to have, storage, right? Storage. And we originally, where the piano was that was going to be the original storage. But we had the opportunity to grow a little bit farther out. So we wanted a storage area. So this is basically where we hold all the AC units, the handler, the water heater, electric water heater. This is also double drywall, everything here.
Yep.
The only thing we don't have is just two double doors here.
Yes.
But still double drywall. 2 5/8 inch drywall, all in here. And so I also use it to storage and also for recording a lot of my louder amps. Use this mainly for bass a lot of times, but whenever we run out of space inside for an amp, we put it in here.
Yeah, it's great. And we ran conduits here for that reason.
Here's the I/O panel here, so my Ethernet comes through here and
just run it to wherever you need to.
House, yeah. But this is one of the most important things that I was telling you, that I want to make sure that we have a bathroom.
Yeah.
Because I don't want people to come, you build this bomb-ass studio, and then they have to go into your house to use the restroom.
Sure.
So it has a shower in here. You can take showers in here. It works great. Toilet. And but that's pretty much, this guy, and we also have one here in the airlock. This is the same thing here. Same concept. All these go to my patch panel. And what's cool about this room is that the ISO booth is right behind us. So when someone plays live drums in there, what I do, I have a Royer SF24, a stereo ribbon mic, and I put it here sometimes, or I put it into, a lot of times I put it in the bathroom, I put it right in the middle. Because you could hear the resonance and all the drums from that wall in here. So I use that as a room mic, as a distant room mic. So I use that here a lot.
So how often are you like tracking live bands here, or are you doing mostly mixing? Like what's the balance there?
So we were officially open July 1st. I was already open like in end of March, and July 1st was really the official. So I usually get at that time earlier on quite a bit of bands playing, roughly 2 or 3 a week, right? It started dying off because I was pushing back. I think we talked about earlier that I'm trying to get, I'm going more into the music production house instead of a recording studio. Sure. So I'm working with agencies to compose music for TV and film. So now it's more of me here, mainly by myself, me playing instruments. So there's drums and guitars everywhere here. And so instead of having bands come and record and they leave and they just pay you their fee, I compose songs and I own 100% ownership on it. And I send them out to libraries or other agencies.
Yeah.
And then so I still record, and now I would say maybe like once a week, maybe now it's like a live band, and it's normally someone that I know, but a lot of people that I also know use this space for rehearsal.
Right.
So they come here and they rehearse here, and it's close to their house and here. So it's always being used. And what's great about this room is that they're rehearsing, and I'm here mixing and recording, and I could barely, if anything, hear them through here.
That's awesome.
And they're playing live music over there.
Yeah. That's a testament to the isolation that was done, and also these sliding glass doors.
Yeah, there's 4 sliding doors, and if you close all 4 of them, you barely hear it here.
That's awesome. Yeah. So is this studio what you thought it was going to be when you started out?
It was a vision that I thought I had, and usually your visions don't really come true so much, because it's a little more harder than what you think it is. But this studio seemed to like match what I was looking for. It's really weird to like have everything fit in place, kind of the world fits in place. Yeah. But everything that I wanted to do in the studio is in this here studio now. Yeah. There's certain things that I did not think of that you suggested that ended up working great, like the sliding door view. Things seemed like what I wanted.
That's awesome.
And it's so great to be able to wake up in the morning, do coffee in my house, just walk outside into the studio.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for having us in and allowing us to tour this space. It's a beautiful space, and I'm glad that we were able to be a part of it, and wish you all the luck in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks.